Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Vanar Versus. My name is Scarzig, and today our opponent is Vetruvian. So let's hop right in. Starting off here, I see that I have a really good hand with the Snow Chaser, the Borean Bear, and the Crystal Cloaker. That offers me really good early game options and fantastic synergy to start off. So I'm going to move forward 2 spaces and drop the Borean Bear. I go ahead and give my opponent here a little greeting. Good luck, have fun, sir. Now, I start off with the Borean Bear, of course, so that I can summon the Crystal Cloaker and buff its attack power. Luckily, I draw a second Crystal Cloaker, so this game is looking great to start for me. My opponent moves forward and doesn't take that mana tile. He plays the Ethereal Obelisk up and away from himself, and I'm able to deny him that middle mana tile. And I don't want to summon the second Crystal Cloaker right above the General. I'm actually going to summon him below, just so that there's a small chance that the Dervish that gets summoned won't be able to take that mana tile. So we'll see how that works out for me. The Borean Bear gets buffed, and right now I have a pretty good presence on the board with the 2 Crystal Cloakers, and they do have their Infiltrate bonuses activated. So the Dervish does get spawned in a location where he can take that mana tile, and he does have a bit of a choice here to make. He can take that mana or damage one of the Crystal Cloakers, and does decide to go for the mana tile, so that is fine. So my opponent here has 4 mana, so I'm going to be looking out for the Entropic Decay or something along those lines, but he actually drops the Lady Lock. And because he did take that mana tile, he's able to drop the the Ethereal Obelisk as well. Now, because of Lady Lock's effect, it is a 0-7 instead of a 0-6. So that does make it a bit more of a nuisance to take out. I don't have a Snowpiercer or anything in my hand to directly deal with it, but I am able to take it out this turn. I just need to make sure I play my cards correctly. I use the Frostfire here to buff the Crystal Cloaker to make it a 6-6, because it is a Frost minion, of course. And in order to get rid of that Obelisk, I'm going to attack it with the Crystal Cloaker and my General. I just need to get past that Lady Lock as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and transform it with Aspect of the Fox. My Crystal Cloaker here is just going to trade 1 for 1 with it. And then my buffed Crystal Cloaker and my General again are going to be able to take out this buffed Ethereal Obelisk. So that leaves my opponent without any provoke units. And hopefully I'll be able to get board control back. I'll be able to take out the other Obelisk next turn. Having 1 on the field is definitely a nuisance, but having 2 becomes too much to deal with. It'll definitely snowball the game into the enemy General's favor very, very quickly unless you deal with it right away. So right here my opponent does play the Bone Swarm, which deals 2 damage to me and to any nearby friendly minions. So the Snow Chaser's taken out, but fortunately it does come back to my hand. And he does hit my buffed Crystal Cloaker here with the Blind Scorch. It doesn't go all the way down to 0 attack because of its Infiltrate bonus, which is kind of good for me. He does kill it, but it is able to get 2 more damage onto the enemy General. So right here, I am in a bit of a bind. I want to take out this Obelisk, but I just do not have the damage in my hand in order to do that right now. So what I am going to do is just go ahead and drop these minions out of my hand with the Provoke there, and with the Crystal Cloaker and the Snow Chaser. Hopefully I'll just be able to keep him pressured, and so I can draw some of my stronger creatures. I have a Razorback here. Again, I am fishing for a Snowpiercer or something as well, so that I can kind of get board control back. Now down comes the second Lady Lock, which I was a bit surprised to see. This does indicate to me that this is a more aggressive sort of swarm, rush, zoo sort of Vetruvian deck, which has become sort of popular in the past couple weeks, which is fine. With the Dervish that was summoned by the Obelisk, he is able to take out the Rock Pulverizer. And with the Orb Weaver coming down, those are both buffed by Lady Lock and become +1/+1 provoke units as well. So I'm definitely in a bit of a bind. Since this Vetruvian player is using a rush oriented deck, I am at a bit of a disadvantage. My main deck is perfectly fine going toe-to-toe with other aggressive decks, but because of Vanar's lack of AoE, outside of the Avalanche card, or my Glacial Elemental Bone Chill Barrier combo that I have built into this deck, it definitely becomes a hassle for me to get board control back. So what I'm going to do here is transform that Orb Weaver into a Fox so that I'm able to move the Snow Chaser down. I buff it with the Razorback and I'm able to take out the Lady Locke. My General is just going to take out this Obelisk, and I'm able to resummon the Snow Chaser here. It's a bit of a waste of the buffed Crystal Cloaker, but I am going to go ahead and trade it with the Orb Weaver there, so he no longer has any more provoke units on the board, and I'm going to use the Flash Freeze to stun that Fox. Hopefully me stalling it out for one turn will allow me to build more of an advantage from that board swing I just was able to get. Unfortunately, he is pressuring me very heavily with the Orb Weavers. They give him really great value, and I'm starting to really get a card disadvantage here. Vanar does have a lack of card draw capabilities for their faction, so you have to make sure to deal with threats in the most value conscious way as you can. So down comes another set of Orb Weavers, which I did not want to see, and he takes out the Snow Chaser right away. And after he hits it with the Siphon Energy to dispel it, it does not come back to my hand. So this is he's starting to tighten the noose onto me, so to speak. And I equipped the Snowpiercer to get this damage on. Because things are starting to go south for me now, I want to try to tune it up and be a bit more aggressive and close out this game pretty soon. I have him all the way down to 8 HP, and he'll be able to knock this artifact off of me here this turn, but he'll have to trade a couple creatures into me to do it, so I am okay with that. And seeing here that I drew 2 Borean Bears, this was a bit of a mistake to drop that Glacial Elemental so early. Since I am getting up into the higher mana, I should have kept that in my hand. I would have been able to summon all 3 and get its effect to ping twice. So down comes the Rash's Curse, which is something I didn't want to see. It instantly takes out my artifact and summons a Dervish with Rush right in front of my General. So he's able to drop this damage on me, take out the Glacial Elemental, and get the full surround. So he is taking advantage of that mistake I made, prematurely summoning the Glacial Elemental. And here comes down another set of Orb Weavers, and the pressure is really starting to get intense here. I need to get some distance between myself and these creatures in order to buy myself some time. I don't want to risk switching out one of these Borean Bears for something I'm not going to be able to use. I dropped them both here, so at least one of them gets the buff, and hopefully they'll be able to soak a bit of damage from these Orb Weavers, and I can begin to stabilize. My opponent here is sort of running low in regards to his hand as well, so as long as I can stay alive for a few more turns, I could stabilize. But down comes the Star's Fury, so this is definitely starting to look pretty dire for me. The Star's Fury summons dervishes in front of the General and any minions. Because of the way I have the Borean Bear stacked, however, he only gets 2 dervish summons. But it's all he needs in order to, again, clear my board and really keep me pressured with these Orb Weavers. So right now I'm going to be looking to fish for maybe a Hearth Sister, or perhaps the Glacial Elemental Bone Chill Barrier combo. The Hailstone Prison is actually pretty bad in this match right here. That would have come in handy earlier when I was dealing with the Obelisks, but against Orb Weavers, those are something with a really strong opening gambit that you don't want to send back to the enemy's hand. So right here I drop Voice of the Wind and the other Snow Chaser, and it summons the Frost Naiad up towards the enemy General. So I am slowly corralling him into the corner. I might be able to take him out next turn and keep these Snow Chasers off of me. Pardon me, the Orb Weavers off of me. Down comes another Bone Swarm to take out the Snow Chaser again. It does come back to my hand, so I'll be able to play it next turn. So that is fortunate for me. That's game. Down comes the second Star's Fury. Now, I would have been able to survive this, I think, but because the Frost Dryad was summoned by the Voice of the Wind, he actually gets an extra Dervish here to take it out, and he can move his general down to take me out. So, well played, sir. That was definitely a very fun match. If you like what you see, please leave me a comment and subscribe. You have a good one.